Hello, welcome to Speak Life. My name is Nate. I'm joined by Glen, and this year we are in the midst of our Christmas giving campaign. But in the first 15 days of December, we're looking to raise another 100 regular donors. We currently have 160 to keep us afloat, and this year it's especially exciting because anything you give in that first year, we have managed to find some donors who will match your giving. So it's an incredible opportunity for you to give effectively to the ministry of Speak Life so that we can help more people see more of life according to Jesus.
So we're up to video number 6 as we do a little look back over 15 of Speak Life's classic videos. And this one, it was inspired by the 2022 World Cup, which was held at an odd time of year. Mm-hmm. And in November and December, I think the final was December 6th or something? Or
December the 18th, Lionel Messi completed football as Argentina beat France on penalties, and the GOAT took on the greatest prize of all.
Yeah, I just remember Harry Kane just sending the ball skywards and, breaking hearts.
England were involved in that World Cup, weren't they?
And so we had the idea of doing a Christmas video based on the classic football song, Football's Coming Home, and we decided to dress Nate up as every character.
Every single one. The full nativity.
That's it.
That was it. And we should take a little look at it because it's always nice to be reminded of what you look like as a donkey.
And we've got the voice of Thomas Thorogood at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. He plays, he's very good at playing an announcer.
Yes.
He also played the train announcer in Mr. Thankful.
That's true.
Well, the whole nation expected, but that surely is the end, barring some kind of a miracle. But after such high hopes, it's simply...
Drinking beer during work time at Speak Life. It's come from Rome, it's come from Rome, it's come from census, come from Rome. And the marching. You've got to march.
You've got to go. You've got to bounce along to that jolly tune. And yes.
You were good as a centurion. Look at that.
I know. The centurion, I think, was my favourite character, partly because it's my favourite outfit.
As soon as you put the helmet on, the smug just came out of you. Just the...
Certainly
that
did.
Smirk. Look at that.
And a pair of goalkeeper gloves I'd bought recently from Sports Direct.
Of course you did.
The cheapest Sondico goalkeeper gloves it was possible to buy.
I love this bit where you don't turn in unison.
Filmmaking's really about the editing, just so you know.
And when you... That's it, that's the bit. And we kept that in.
Yeah. Oh, but the other one as well, angel wings.
Yeah.
Those were incredible. We got that.
And then multiplying the angels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Myriad angels.
Myriad angels. And plenty of old school England football shirts.
Yes.
Different
vintages.
Far and wide, and a couple of them belong to me already, but we did borrow someone, particularly 1998. It's an iconic shirt that David Beckham wore. I think a free kick against Colombia. But there we go.
Yes.
Same World Cup he got sent off against Argentina.
That was the Melchior kind of suit. And Paul Feasy doing the track for us and the singing. So, yeah, well done, Paul Feasy. And we had a little bit of pushback on this one. A lot of people were like, well, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourselves.
Are you? You don't sound like you're glad.
But people are like, what's the point? What's the point of just having a bit of fun at Christmas?
I suppose partly because Christmas is a joyful occasion that people are invited into. I mean, that's the message of the angels to the shepherds, surely is, we have good news that will be for all the people, good news of great joy. Today in the town of David, a Saviour has been born to you, right? A Saviour, a champion, someone who is going to come and meet us in our failure and then rise us up to victory. So where better to consider that than in the greatest international football competition as football as the global game as an opportunity for us to get behind Gareth Southgate and the boys. Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, Bukayo
just
Saka.
Slotted into football mode. And
I know. There's
interview.
so few opportunities to get your football commentary on. I'm never going to be invited onto Match of the Day, so I'm going to take the opportunity when it comes.
No. And there's an opportunity to talk about Christ, our champion. He's the Savior of all. He's the something. What is it?
Substitute.
He's the substitute for all the failures who fall. Our heroes here.
You should be very
You
proud
know?
of that line, Glenn. Our hero's here. Oh,
Our hero's hero. And it's and what is evangelism? It's similar to what Christmas is. It's festive joy to which the world is invited, and and it's a bit rough and ready. But if we enjoy it, then other people might be, invited into the mess and the rough and readiness of it to enjoy what we're enjoying.
And there's something about saying that. There is a kind of cringy Christmas that people are, resistant to because we all take ourselves a little bit too seriously, so we want everything to look neat and tidy. But there is something about the way that we've been celebrating Christmas, particularly in this country, which is to do with tea towels on heads and, children dressing up as shepherds and kings and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And somehow it feels as though that connects in with, the kind of lad baby England football team type scenario.
Yeah. And it's historical Christmas, and just as in history there's Mary Beard, we had Mary with a beard.
Oh my goodness. If you're not familiar, Mary Beard is a classicist, famous for talking in using rude words. But Mary with a beard.
Beardy Mary. You can this Christmas either have Mary Beard or a Beardy Mary.
Let's move on.
That was number 6.
To number 7.
Let's go through the 7th window of our Christmas Advent calendar.
The Coming, based on a poem by R.S. Thomas.
Welsh sacred poet and priest R.S. Thomas, who begins his poem,
"And God held in his hand a small globe. Look, he said. The sun looked."
It's Christmas from the perspective of the Father and the Son. And it talks about the world, which is, like barren and uninviting and wild and beautiful, but also dark and dangerous. Mm-hmm. And the big question is, as the Son looks at that kind of world, is that the kind of world he wants to go to? And what I love about, by the time you get to the final line, Jesus says, "Let me go there." And in one leap, you get to do both Christmas and Easter.
Okay. Because
as Jesus is embracing the darkness of the world, he sees this tree which has its crossed boughs, and he recognizes that if he goes to that world, this is what he is embracing. He's not just on a reconnaissance trip. This is not just a jolly. This is embracing the cross in all its kind of horrors. Mm-hmm. And still he says, "Let me go there." So I love the R.S. Thomas poem. It gives me a chill every time I read it. And we wanted to kind of bring it to life. And our students from 2019 did a fantastic job, I think. It was also the inspiration for the following year's Christmas. We did "Let Me Go There," which is the final line of the R.S. Thomas poem. Yep. And then we decided to reimagine the whole poem in this kind of fantasy in which a father says to a son holding up a snow globe, "Look," and the son looks. Calling to you. We kind of needed lockdown in so many ways in order to really invest in a 3D animation where you're building up the entire video pixel by pixel. And Rodney March from Sydney in Australia just did a fantastic job. He's worked with some of the best animators in the world, and we were just so thrilled that he worked on this. But it is kind of an allegory that brings to life the R.S. Thomas poem. Yeah, it's tricky doing an allegory, because it's not explained.
I mean, I suppose certainly in terms of the opening few shots, you've got, what looks to be a father and son. That's the assumption you're going to make about these two characters as they're walking through the snow and then into this charming little Christmas gift store, and then walking up to this snow globe. And then the son's looking in, and he presses the try button.
The try button, not the go button. Yep.
So what's he going to try? And then suddenly, from the white, we see this boy flying through London.
Beautiful scene. Well done, Rod. There are lots of palaces of Westminster. If you pause the film, you'll see that the Palace of Westminster is repeated about 17 times. But And it's a river of slime, which again, this serpentine
quote from the Horace Thomas poem. Yeah.
And we even put the cough, a little COVID reference, a little 2020 reference.
And then out from the River Thames comes
the serpent,
the green serpent. Now that is a real, get your colours right. That's absolutely on point to have this kind of green, evil serpent-looking thing, which spews him out again on the shore.
Now this scene, so there's the cross-bowed tree, but then these guys
come crawling up behind
NSFW,
and he's scrabbling
NSF children either.
Just to say though, this animation here, I don't know what people have experience of doing animation, but the animation of the boy scrabbling backwards, that is actually remarkably kind of impressive. Just simple animation to get that kid to kind of come out of the way.
And then you see the actual father and son, because remember, he's just trying what it would look like if he entered the world, and then he moves towards the evil. Flash. Is that the end of him or the end of evil, or both?
Well, now we're back in this gorgeous little trinket store, and the big question,
let me go there, and he decides to go, knowing what's coming, and then the father is alone because the son has gone for real. And then I love this scene, the father with single tear forming.
Now I think the father, what direction did you give to Rodney to come up with the character, do the character design
in terms of the just Dickensian London? But
he looks like he's from Yorkshire. I don't know where I've got that from. Maybe it's the hat. Maybe it's the sort of, he's not using any unnecessary words. He's,
that's true.
I mean, the son is the word of the father. So
there you go.
Want to know what the father says?
And that word is necessary.
Look at the son.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I love it because I know what's going on inside it. But some people sort of saw it, and there was some pushback on, okay, did the demons really have to be so demonic? And what do you do about something that's sort of just cool story, bro? And does it need to be explained? And so we released a version of it where within the same video I pop up and say, let me explain what's going on. And I kind of did that on the basis that Jesus does it in Matthew 13, for instance. He tells a cool story about the sower of the seed, and then he says, oh, this soil type was this kind of person, and this soil type was this kind of person. So
I think one of the things that comes through with a video like this is just that because there is so much going on at Christmas, it is such a kind of rich place to go for story and storytelling. And there is always going to be aspects of those stories which we find easier to kind of come to terms with, that feel more Christmassy or less Christmassy to us.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that people were sort of reacting to is the kind of the darker side of what's going on at Christmas, which you'll find if you just read the historical accounts of the first Christmas, you will find some pretty gruesome scenes that don't feel like they're safe for children because the children weren't safe. And so certainly there are aspects to the problem that Christmas is coming to solve, which presents us with things that we might want to turn away from. But certainly this was another kind of great opportunity for us to tell the Jesus story again, tell it slant, and give it as a fresh representation of what is happening at Christmas.
And we loved doing the song, and I think, Michael Tinker did a great job, and David Gibson on some of the orchestration, and John, somebody did the singing. These vocals were just absolutely tremendous. So I think, the music really makes that video for me as well. But you're right, you've got to, if you're going to do Christmas, you've got to talk somewhat about the story, about the problem that Christmas is solving. And so, we sometimes dive into the darkness at Christmas, and I think that is warranted. But this next video we're going to do, number 9, is, well, there's no darkness in this one, really.
It's a happy land.
Yeah.
Not a sad or scary land. It's a Happyland Nativity. Now, talk me through the origin,
it's
the backstory
look.
this little Happyland Nativity, Glenn.
Well, Gary Grant, who was the founder of The Entertainer toy stores, and you've talked to Gary.
I have.
Bit,
I've interviewed Gary and discussed his coming to faith as a businessman and toy man.
Yeah, and he's a...
I don't mean like Woody, like he's a cowboy doll. I mean he sells toys. That's what he does.
That's what he does, and he even acquires toy lines like the Happyland toy line, and I think The Entertainer purchased the patent or whatever for Happyland, and we together with the people at Hope said, why don't we do a nativity based on the Happyland Nativity characters? And I wrote the words, and we got some lovely children to do the voiceover, and there's just something utterly charming about stop motion. The clunkiness of it. I don't like. It's still, but it's not. But it's
because so much of the early children's programming was kind of very kind of basic stop motion animation. So it feels traditional, even though it's not even that old as a concept.
Yeah.
But the concept behind the video, is all are welcome. Right, it's this kind of gathering in of all the toys can find their place around the manger.
Yeah, and so we make jokes about, is there a helicopter in the nativity? No, there's not a helicopter. Is there a double-decker bus? No, there's not a double-decker bus. But actually, there is a sense in which there's a lot crammed in at the nativity between the shepherds and the angels and the animals and the wise men and the cattle are lowing and there is something actually about the nativity being this little world into which everything is crammed and everything fits and everything belongs because everything is welcomed to the sun. And if you worship the sun, it's bigger than you think is kind of the strapline. And we loved making that. Came out, that was one of the 4 videos that came out in 2019. That was a very busy year for us. Yeah,
Speak Life, Hope and Early Learning Center.
Yes. Yeah, so we clubbed together to do that. And, that's something that we're always trying to do at Speak Life, not just at Christmas time. We're always trying to kind of put out into the world gospel seeds that you can share, and make it easy for people. So hence our December appeal and trying to find, 100 more regular donors that they can show up and really help us to become partners in shareable faith, that they can share this stuff far and wide.
Which brings us to
number 10.
Number 10, which is the gift.
Yes.
Bill and Estelle from number 7, they bought a present.
So the gift was first a book, and Good Book Company wanted me to write a Christmas book, and I really wanted to dive into the sense of gift and the sense of when you give a present, you are giving something of yourself, and unless it's like Amazon vouchers, which is, sometimes Amazon vouchers are great, but you don't feel particularly known if someone gives you Amazon vouchers. But if someone gives you like a book of French poetry or something, and you're like, I'm not sure I'd like this. But your friend says, no, you will totally love this.
Why don't you like French poetry?
Well, I don't speak French.
God against the French and their poems.
And but give it a page or two and you might find, oh, this is actually me and I feel known, and the person who gives you that present has given something of themselves to you. And what is Christmas but the self-gift of God in Christ? God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son.
Yeah.
And so we thought we'd do just a video that's basically a music video about an unwanted gift. And the comic conceit is, here come the neighbors and, oh gosh, they've got a present for us. Do we have a present? Quick, let's go and grab something. And so Will, our star from, this is Ant Joblin, but he plays Will in Meet the Nativity, and he plays Will again, married to Claire now in this. And we love the neighbors coming over. And they grab a present to give, and they're not even sure what the present is. And so this present just gets passed around and around and around and around, and no one ever bothers to actually unwrap the gift and figure out what's been given.
And what's also wonderful about this is just it taps into so much of our social anxiety at Christmas that, you know, kind of, oh, someone's got me a gift, therefore I ought to have something to give back to them. Like the comedy of it is in this kind of panic that comes across them as they're trying to work out how to do it.
The neighbours gave them a personalised ashtray to Will and Claire, but they don't smoke. And then they say, perhaps you should start. I love that. Look at that look on their faces.
If you've been visited by aggressive tobacconists this Christmas, please call this number below.
Yeah. We don't smoke. Well, perhaps you could start. And then, Merry, 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 Merry Christmas. Merry, 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 Merry Christmas.
So what Christmas carol is that?
Carol of the Bells.
Carol of the Bells.
So it's made most famous more recently by Home Alone. And then, this gift just keeps getting passed.
The gift that keeps on getting given.
Yes, and not received.
Yeah.
And little cameo from the director coming up. There we are. No, don't want it.
Is that a real postman?
That is a real postman. We did commandeer him. Yeah.
What, you just grabbed him
off the street? He was very keen. Yeah.
You mean so you went out, you're filming, and you just happened to be filming at the time, or you'd intentionally gone onto the street at the time that postman would be around?
We weren't thinking of a postman, but so originally the guy next door was just going to pick it up and then just pass it on to this loser walking down the street. And then we spotted the postman, like, hey, you'll be great in my movie. Hey, kiddo.
Wow.
And then, give it to her. She's now got it. Pass it on to him. I like his comedy gift, though. It's not an ashtray, but it's a library book that's overdue.
How did you come up with the idea for what gifts were going to be given?
I don't know. I just tried to think of the worst presents you could possibly have. Facebook's often a good source if you want to crowdsource some ideas.
Okay.
Like, what's the worst present you've ever gotten at Christmas? those comment threads go on for hundreds of comments. But yeah.
And there we go.
And there's Pete, one of our former students here at Speak Life. And he was just a guy at the cafe down the road, and then we got into this school. And that's the problem, isn't it? Like, what do you get teachers at Christmas? Well, you get boxes and boxes and boxes of Quality Street. And of course, this took care of how we could pay for all the extras. If you volunteered to be an extra in our film, you got a box of Quality Street yourself.
Very good.
And
roundabout it comes again as Claire brings home
the
Quality Street.
Box upon box, chocks upon chocks. But she's diabetic. Oh, see. Terrible gifts. And then in the end, the present goes back unopened, and it falls into the manger. And you think, oh, okay. This Christmas, are we really going to keep the present unopened? Aren't you going to have a look at it? Yeah. And so off the back of that, you say, well, why don't you investigate more about the gift? Why don't you read the book? So there you go.
Just one question. Have you ever been given a gift and not opened it?
Oh, that happens every Christmas, doesn't it? Like Oh, yeah. Sometimes you get to, like, it's like 5 p.m. and oh, whose is this? I don't know. And
that actually happens.
Oh yeah, don't you? Doesn't happen at your Christmas? No,
I don't think. I think there's a basic
surfeit of Christmas joy at the Scrivener household. It's just like we're just absolutely stuffed.
Wow. This exercise is presenting me with issues that I never knew were actual real life problems. But there we go.
There we go. So that's number 10, and so. which is your favorite out of numbers 6 through 10? More importantly, do you think you could join the 100? We are looking to grow our regular supporters from 160 supporters to 260 supporters, and we're looking to do it between December the 1st and December the 15th, which means we haven't got long. But if you give to us within this time period, we actually have some generous match funders who will double whatever you give to us. So whatever you give to us, they will put on top of that. It's the most cost-effective, most multiplying way that you can support gospel ministry. And if you've been meaning to kind of support Speak Life for a while, now is the time. There's never been a better time, and we would love you to become a part of the 100. So if you go to speaklife.org.uk/appeal, it's very easy for you to give, whether you're in the UK or beyond. But we would be so grateful. And it would really help us to just create this shareable faith content that can get out and bless the world.
Thank you very much.
We have one more video to go, looking at videos number 11 to 15. But yeah, thanks for being with us.